Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am so excited for you to be here with me today. I have something that is heavy on my heart at the moment, and I really just wanted to share it with you. And I want to start this episode off by just saying that I am not attacking anybody. If you felt this way, it is totally normal. But I wanted to maybe change your thinking slightly about how you are thinking about friendships at this moment as we're in quarantine and or just moving forward in life. So with that, let's get started.
No one has told you. I am hoping to be the first to let you know that you are so beautiful and you are the most amazing, epic human being. If you are looking for a podcast that brings quirky, goofy, and silliness to deep, real-life situations, then this is the podcast for you. After multiple decades of sexual abuse from multiple family members, I walked away from my entire family and started a new lineage. I have faced anxiety, panic attacks, dyslexia, body dysmorphia, chronic depression, victim mentality, toxic relationships, and I've even been hospitalized for suicide. But through patience, forgiveness, self-love, and a crap ton of counseling, I have learned to grow through all that life has given me. And I'm here to help you take your power back, not only to love yourself, but to thrive again. Welcome to Self-Love with Stephanie, the podcast.
Okay, so first and foremost, if my audio is slightly awkward, it is because I am hiding from my baby in my car. He is sleeping, and the second he hears my voice, he wakes up. So I knew that I wanted to get in a space where I could be emotional, honest, and really pour my heart into this episode for you without the fear of waking up the baby. So there are 1,000 memes running around, and they've been there for a long time. It kind of goes along the line of quarantine has really made me realize who my true friends are. I now know who cares about me to check in on me and who doesn't. There is 1,000 variations of that verbiage, but I wanted to challenge you to change your thinking about that. And it is so easy for us when we are hurt to only see one side of the story. I think it's human nature. It's hard to see outside of ourselves and others, people's perspectives and what they might be going through on a daily basis, let alone when we're hurting. We are so involved in what we are going through that we completely forget about what others might be going through. So it's totally human nature. So if you have fallen into this category, please know you are not alone. This is not your fault. But I really wanted to just kind of talk to you about it today and give you hopefully a different perspective. So I have a quick example. Definitely was not an example for quarantine. But a few years ago, when I was going through my darkest time, I reached out to one of my best friends and I asked her if I could move in with her and her husband. At the time, I was living with someone who was no longer physically safe for me, and I was in danger to stay at this house. I knew that I needed a way out and I didn't know where else to go. It was a family member, so I couldn't necessarily just go to like my mom's house or someone else in the family because it got super complicated super fast. So I reached out to my friend. She knew what was going on. She knew the whole situation. And her response was, "I'm sorry, I can't right now." And truth be told, I was devastated. I only could see my hurt, my pain that I was currently going through in that situation. I knew that situation was a life or death situation. And I could not see past myself and my pain. And I held on to that for years. Maybe like 3 or 4 years later, I meet up with her and I tell her, "How could you abandon me when I needed you the most?" And she's like, "I don't understand what you're talking about. You've never told me about this stuff." And I had to explain to her that I was in, to me, what was a life or death situation. She could not remember why she said no. And I talked to her about it and we had a great open communication, but I was still struggling. And it wasn't until I got on to do this podcast for you that I realized that I had worked through it. I now, completely on the other side of my healing, can realize that I was asking her to bring 2 large dogs, a German Shepherd puppy, to live with her husband and her 2 dogs for a unknown amount of time. I had no idea what was going on in her life personally. Every time we talked, it was always about me because I was going through such a big situation. So I could not put myself in her shoes of what a big commitment that really would have been to be able to help me. I also had no idea if they were having issues in their marriage. I had no idea if she was struggling at work. She said no because she needed to protect her boundaries. On the other side of healing, I can respect that. I can love her deeply for that because that is huge. Because if she would have said yes, we could have destroyed our friendship. I could have destroyed their marriage. The dogs could have destroyed her house. There could have been so many things at play that would have gone bad. But instead, she did what was incredibly hard and she protected her boundaries. While I have not even told this young lady how epically awesome and I truly appreciated her respecting her boundaries and protecting our friendship in that moment, it took years for me to get there. So what is the point of all this? What did this teach me? The main thing it taught me is that if someone is not reaching out to you, if someone is not checking in on you, even if they know that you are having a hard time, it doesn't mean they don't love you. That just means they have their own shit going on right now. And that is okay. People go through stuff on a daily basis without ever telling anybody else what they're going through. That is their way of processing. There's also other people who process by telling everybody every single deep, dark secret as they're going through it. They have to talk out the process with every person they meet, and that is okay. There are so many different ways to process what we're going through, and whatever your way is, great. I'm glad that you are respecting that, and you have the tools, and you know what the best way works for you. But it's so important to remember that others are different. If you're sitting in silence and you're mad that your friends are not reaching out to you, just remember that they might be sitting in silence. Or if your friend says everything out loud and never checks on you, just remember that it's okay. You guys have different personalities. And or if you are the person who has spilled your whole heart out to 7 different friends and none of them call to check on you, that is also okay. Because they might be going through something right now. If you do find yourself in that situation and you're like, I feel like I'm being abandoned by my friends. I feel like no one is loving me. I am absolutely miserable here in quarantine and no one's checking up on me and I'm no longer going to be their friends because what jerk faces. If you are thinking that, I challenge you to think, if I need help, I should ask for help. If I need to reach out, I can reach out. So if I called my friend Susie and Susie told me, hey, I'm drowning. Oh my gosh, I don't even know my foot from my butt at this point. I am struggling. I know that Susie is not the person to say, hey, I'm struggling right now and I really need you to check up on me. She made her boundaries clear and I know that she needs help. So if I have the emotional space, I should probably check up on Susie. But if I also have a friend who's like, oh my gosh, I'm so bored and I didn't want to bug you, then you can say, hey, I really could use someone to check in on me every day. I'm really struggling. I'm going through a big depression. Or if you don't want to go into much details, just say, I'm really struggling and I'm feeling alone. Is it possible to FaceTime with you every few days? Or can you call or text me every once in a while? I don't emotionally feel available that I can text you, but would it be okay for you to text me just to start the conversation? Whatever you need, it is okay to ask for. Please ask for it. Your friends want to know how they can help you. So instead of writing everybody off during this quarantine thinking, no one loves me, I'm completely abandoned, I'm left for dead, just remember that they have a lot going on as well. Quarantine has been so hard for everybody in the entire world. My heart goes out to everybody who has lost someone or knows someone who's lost someone. I know that financially it's also incredibly hard for a lot of people. So just know that this is a hard time for every single human being on this planet. And you are still valued. You are loved and you are worthy, and it's okay to ask for help. So please keep a kind, warm-hearted love and appreciation for your friends and family who are also going through this, and a kind heart when moving through quarantine. So as we wrap up, my biggest takeaway is, if you are struggling, please ask for help, but please be mindful of the people that you are asking help from. Make sure that they are in the capacity to be able to give you that help. And know that if someone tells you they cannot help you right now, that does not mean they don't love you. That just means they can't help you right now. And that's okay. Because also, how awful would it be if someone was like, oh yeah, I'll check on you daily. I got you. And then you never hear from them. How abandoned you would feel. So if your friend tells you yes, that she's going to check up on you, but she also just complained about how she is drowning, notice that if she does not reach out to you, that is not a reflection of you. That's not a reflection of how she feels about you. That is purely a reflection of she is drowning. And she did not know how to express to you, honestly, that she is not the one who can be able to be there for you. So if you have found any value in this podcast, please let me know. I am over at Self Love with Stephanie on Instagram. I would love to see a screenshot of this episode. Tell me what you loved about it. Throw it up on your IG stories. I want to know. Make sure you tag me. I would love to share it on my page as well. And please leave a 5-star review over on iTunes if you are loving this content, if you feel that I am providing value in your life, if I am making you think of something different or in a different way, or just inspiring you to know that there is a life after trauma. And there is a way to heal and thrive through trauma. We can do this together.